Hello, everyone, and welcome to Paper Previews. I am Olet, and I'm joined by my tag team partner on Paper Previews, the one and only WrestleDraft Season 1 champion, Chris Parrish.
It's like
And of
the
course,
title on the mic.
And of course, we are joined by our run-in special guest, the man who knows all the news and only gives you a little bit of the spoilers, Mr. Tom Collier.
Back by popular demand, because at some point one person said, hey, you should come to this show, and that's what popular means.
Absolutely. We've got Carnage. He's been very excited the entire time we've been waiting. We've been chit-chatting. He is playing his 2K and going to join us as he gives us his thoughts in the chat. And we want all of you to do the same as we get ready to talk about a bit of, I'll be honest, a bit of a lackluster show for me. Not jumping for joy to watch Payback. How about you guys?
Yeah.
These are the shows that are dangerous. When you don't think that you're going to enjoy it, they tend to kick the living snot out of you.
I didn't say I wasn't going to enjoy it. I said I'm not excited going into it.
Yeah, Parrish is absolutely right, though. The hype that you get from a show that you're not excited for, there is always just that little extra bit of danger that they're going to throw something in there just to keep it interesting. We've got John Cena now that we didn't have before. What else have they got in store? You just can't quite trust them.
Yeah.
Just so people know, John Cena follows me on the X. It's fucking awesome.
It's always great.
No, the one thing though too is like after the Raw main event, which I thought was an absolute banger of a Falls Count Anywhere between Zoe and Trish, just the momentum that. Zoe and Becky, yeah. But Becky has so much momentum going in. You know Trish is going to want to kill it in her first ever steel cage match. These girls, I think, are going to steal the show. And if that's their mentality going in, beware, because you know Becky's husband wants to steal the show as well.
I mean, absolutely. But it's it's one of those things where it's going to be an interesting card. All the matches seem fine, but it's not got me here. It's not got me in the heart. It's not got me hyped. It's like, oh, this looks like a fun show. Tag team title match looks like it's going to be great. Steel cage match for the ladies, that's going to rock. It's going to be fun. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez. These two girls want to go out there and absolutely tear the house down. It's going to be great. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins? Sure. But as a show, it's just like, huh?
I think the wrestling is going to be good. The match quality should be fantastic. I'm excited for Seth versus Nakamura. But I wouldn't necessarily say I'm the wrestling fan here. I like the drama. I like the intrigue. I like the insanity a little bit. There's not much of promise there outside of a briefcase and a Cody. For me, a lot of this is by the numbers, unfortunately.
Yeah, and before we go any further, I just want to let everybody know that if by chance you're like Tom, you're up late and you need a little bit of kick-ass in your energy, go to our friends, our pals, our great supporters, our affiliates at Rogue Energy, where at rogueenergy.com you have a chance to get a plethora of flavors, including their new sour watermelon. Ed, I know you like watermelon.
I'm very anxious to try the sour watermelon.
Sour watermelon is now a new flavor, and everything is now in stock. And if you're a U.S. Resident, you can get some stuff in the cans. And then you also can check out their merch, as they have hats, mouse pads, etc. But make sure that if you do go to rogueenergy.com and buy yourself some little, whether it's snacks, some apparel, whatever, at that checkout, use our promo code OLEPODS. Save yourself 10% on that order. And that's just not for your first order. It's for all orders. Make sure you use OLEPODS and you save yourself some money, because that is pretty nice.
I'm on the website right now. I'm trying to get my sour watermelon. Hold
on. Hey, focus. We have a show.
But I want sour watermelon.
I can only stay awake so long.
You can only stay awake so long. Oh, that's not how that's supposed to go.
I'll take it.
It's going to be. Just, I need to make it. I need to hit one more button. There, that's what I wanted. There. That's what I needed. We got links from Mr. Tom Collahue right here.
Oh, someone was prepared this time. It's nice.
No, I made those just now as Parrish was talking.
Of course you did.
We didn't know we were having you on, Tom.
You should always be prepared.
We had these prepared 3 weeks ago when your internet decided it was going to take a shit SummerSlam weekend.
To be fair, if you go to the Wrestle Draft banner, Ed, we got them. They are saved.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know.
The full schedule and everything.
Yeah.
I wanted to get him in the
check that shit out. I'm prepared, man.
Ed, you're slipping, mate.
I'm just not the consummate professional that is Tom Collahue and when he's sober, Chris Parrish.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah.
But yeah, talk about people who are professionals. We got the opening match of Payback, where we've got The Miz, the most professional man in all of WWE, the man who shows up for every media appearance, the man who is relied on by WWE to put on banger with everybody on the roster, versus the next big thing, potentially, in wrestling, the fan favorite, maybe a bit of a fad, L.A. Knight. Yeah. I think it'll be a good show, too. Don't get my unoptimism confused with not thinking it's going to be a good show. Is it going to be All Out, where it's essentially a dynamite that's going to cost you $50? No, that's not what we're talking about here. Talking about a very good B-level pay-per-view that's going to be a great pay-per-view when we look back at it. I'm just so excited.
In no way am I letting you away with the phrase unoptimism. That's just not a world I'm going to live in. It's just not. You struggled with the word pessimism there, mate.
I couldn't think of the word pessimism, so I went with the other version, and it didn't work right. Anyway.
Clearly.
Mr. Collahue, The Miz versus L.A. Knight. What are you feeling here?
I'm feeling it should be relatively by the numbers, as I've mentioned. The Miz for me is the consummate professional. He is absolutely the kingmaker. You don't get anywhere without at some point going through and then over the head of the Miz. We saw the promo battle on SmackDown. It was a lot of fun, and I do feel the Miz edged it. The Miz has been edging it the entire time. Having someone like LA Knight in the ring to bounce off has given the Miz enough material to bring out the best in him, like ages of old when we saw him across the ring from John Cena. This is the Miz at his best. You put him in a wrestling ring, though, he knows his job. He lays on his back for a 1-2-3.
Parrish?
Yeah, I gotta agree with Tom on the sense that the Miz is killing it, but he's also that seasoned vet in WWE, where LA Knight is still proving himself, whether it's within himself in just the industry of pro wrestling, because he hasn't reached the pinnacle yet, and Miz has, but he's also now challenged to somebody that can go toe to toe with him, whether it's in the ring, on the microphone, anything. Just an idea that came up to me. I would love to see LA Knight and John Cena at some point. Give me that. Yeah. But this is definitely a must prove it match for LA Knight, because if he is to go to that next level, the Miz is that challenge that you have to meet. If you can't perform on the standard of the Miz, then you are not going to be a top guy in WWE. This is one of the biggest tests for LA Knight, and I think he's going to pass, because he has nothing but desire, heart, and will to do this. And that's just not a cheap line. This guy wants to be the guy in WWE, and he's going to do everything he can. I have LA Knight going up, and with everybody saying 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I really thought you were going to go with that's not just an opinion, that's a fact of life. To harken back to a little bit of Eli Drake from TNA. Because that's where I found that. Well, no, sorry, that's the second place I found him. I first found him as Sean Ricker on a one season lived TV show that was hosted by The Rock, where it was like a courage based like Survivor type reality show, and he was on it, and The Rock hosted it, and it was on TNT, and it was awful, absolutely awful. But I found him there. Carnage says that LA Knight's going to win against The Miz. Absolutely. And then the next time I saw him pop up on my TV screens, he was joining Drew Galloway over in Impact to take on, I believe it was the BDC, the Beatdown Crew. When it was MVP, Lashley, and MVP, Samoa Joe, and Kenny King. Fantastic stuff there. Fantastic stuff everywhere he's gone. He's going to be a star, but to be a star, you've got to go through The Miz. The Miz is going to, like he always does, put over anybody and everybody he's told to. But he's still going to look good doing it. And like I said a few weeks ago, The Miz is a first ballot Hall of Famer in my mind. This man, while he doesn't have some of the credentials that some other Hall of Famers have, and that he doesn't have the respect of a lot of the fans that I think he should at this point in his life, he's done everything and anything anybody in WWE could ever do, and he's done it with class, and he's done it against the boys' initial wants in the very beginning. Nobody in the beginning wanted to see this man succeed, and he did. And good for him, and I'm glad that someday we'll be able to watch him on the biggest stage, getting his roses, and hearing people cheer for him as he gets that Hall of Fame induction. But here he loses.
I love how you took that entire time just to put over the career of The Miz and said absolutely nothing on what to expect in this matchup.
I mean, it's going to be what? It's going to be 10 minutes of LA Knight getting cheered, The Miz doing his shtick, and then getting beat. Like,
but more importantly, The Miz has a really good career.
It's very important. I think people forget because of the WrestleMania match where it was John Cena versus The Miz, where he main evented Mania, and it's one of the most. It's one of the worst, not the worst. There are much worse main events in WrestleMania history, but it's on that list of worst main events in WrestleMania history. But this guy has done so much for this business, and they don't give him the respect he deserves.
So this is like the second verse of the song, or
Yeah, second verse, much like the first. All right, we've all got LA Knight. Carnage has got LA Knight. We're gonna go ahead and move on. Parrish, what do we got next?
I got Rhea Ripley against Raquel Rodriguez simply for the fact that I know this match is only the prelude of what we really are to expect between these two, because I think WWE has definitely invested a lot of time in Rhea Ripley, but I think Raquel Rodriguez is a future women's star. I just recently listened to After the Bell today with Seth Rollins, and the conversation came up about this is the perfect time in that women's division for somebody new to pop up. You're not seeing the four horsewomen really do their thing. Asuka's not really there right now. You're seeing an opportunity. And somebody like Raquel Rodriguez, who does have some history with Rhea Ripley, this is her opportunity. If this match is anything like their segment on Monday Night Raw, and Raquel brings that aggression that she had when she was a heel NXT and brings that into this, it's going to be absolutely awesome. These two girls are going to kick the living tar out of each other, and we're going to love it. Rhea Ripley, in my opinion, still walks out as champion, and she is going to go down, in my opinion, as the Brock Lesnar of the female division in WWE when it's all said and done. But this match is going to be a banger.
Mr. Collahue, what about you?
I agree with a lot of that. I definitely think this is the start of something rather than the end of something. It seemed like it was going to be on the SummerSlam card, but we've moved on from there. It is a little bit confusing that there are so few challenges at the top level for Rhea Ripley, but it does mean that you're absolutely right. There is an opportunity for someone to step up. We're seeing it on SmackDown, where Shotzi has managed to claim an opportunity there. She wrestled against Bayley today and picked up the win. And that's because Asuka is missing. Charlotte Flair had a very small role. Bianca Belair is missing. There are people missing right now, which is creating opportunities. Now on Raw, there are only really two top stars in the women's division, Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. I'm not counting Trish Stratus for the sake of this, because ultimately Trish Stratus is in and out and isn't really invested and involved in the championship picture. Mm-hmm. We would have had Alexa Bliss, but she, of course, is pregnant at the moment, so is not really an option to consider. Now, this is both a good thing and a bad thing for the women's division, because you can't really build Rhea Ripley without credible challenges, but you also can't really complain that the opportunities are then created for the challenges themselves to become credible. Raquel Rodriguez has an opportunity, maybe over a couple of matches, to become a credible challenger, but Rhea Ripley is simply too strong to take down. And outside of the obvious match against Becky Lynch, I don't see this moment changing. This is the age of Rhea Ripley, and I don't think she's going to be stoppable here.
Yeah, and we got people coming in the chat. Carnage saying, I think Rhea Ripley will retain over Raquel Rodriguez. I wholeheartedly agree. We got Chris Best saying, but right now, from what I'm seeing, WWE is laying the foundation of who could challenge Rhea down the road. Absolutely. This is the chance where Rhea is going to have a lackluster title reign to start. But on the back end of this, when she starts coming around to some of these people again, they're going to be at such a high level when they come around to it again. This is where you bring Raquel Rodriguez up to Rhea Ripley's level. When Liv Morgan comes back, you bring her up to Rhea Ripley's level. You go ahead and bring in somebody like a Xia Li or a Roxanne Perez or somebody like that, and you start making them credible challengers for this title, like Tom says. There are so many women who can do with having a 10-minute match with Rhea Ripley or less, in some cases for some of these talents, and still making them feel like credible challengers and boosting Rhea that much more, like Parrish said, making her a Brock Lesnar type who dispatches of her challengers quickly and easily. Plus, let's not forget, she is also one of the pivotal pieces of the main focus of Raw every week. With Dominic in NXT, she is a pivotal focus on NXT television, whether they be there in person, like they're going to be next week, or whether they're just cutting a promo backstage, or they're cutting a promo on Raw, backstage at Raw that they play on air at NXT. Her being associated with Dominic and being associated with the Judgment Day is giving her so much more credibility where, yeah, maybe her title reign hasn't been the most match-filled championship reign of her career. But she is absolutely been focused on as part of all of these stories on her own, let alone as part of the Judgment Day and everything else that goes along with it.
I think I've actually changed my tone on this. I actually do not want to see Rhea Ripley win this match. I actually do not want to see a winner at all. And the reason is because after hearing both you talk about this, that's an awesome, what do you think? Yeah, Tom?
It's a panda.
I know. I kind of want to see this as a coming out party for Raquel Rodriguez. And I want to see her prove that she can be and is the equal to Rhea Ripley's dominance to a point that maybe she does have an answer. But Rhea is just smart in the way of understanding how to get out of the situation without losing her championship. Therefore, this does continue. And maybe we go to Survivor Series. We have a War Games. We have a Team Ripley against a Team Rodriguez. I actually like that a lot. I think this is going to be a women's feud of the future, just like we're seeing Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. They have not had that one-on-one match, and it's going to be saved down the road for something big like a WrestleMania. I think this is a WrestleMania caliber match where if you're going to take the title off Rhea, it better damn well be at the biggest stage because she is the best female wrestler in the world right now, in my opinion. People can say what they want, but can you really argue that?
Sorry, Tom, go ahead.
So I'd absolutely support Rhea Ripley in the position that she's in right now, but I do disagree when it comes to the feud in general. I think back to the beginning of Roman Reigns' championship run, and he didn't have credible challenges. It wasn't the most exciting, to the point that until you get to Edge at WrestleMania, most people have absolutely no idea what happened in those first few months. It just wasn't particularly memorable. You still had Jey Uso naturally, you had Kevin Owens, you had matches, but it just didn't feel anywhere near the level that it has been since. And certainly the first match against Jey Uso, it wasn't one people really cared about much because there was no real threat there. Now, I disagree when it says that we'll see this come round again because we've got a draft between now and then. And I think we'll get brand new challenges. But also you say a feud of the future. I kind of think this is a feud of the past. They're going to be leaning heavily into what happened in NXT and the feud that they've already had in order to create some intrigue here, because there isn't any intrigue, at least for me personally. I don't see there's any real threat to Rhea Ripley. I don't see there's any future threat to Rhea Ripley, but we'll see how it goes long term. I think they can build Raquel, but not to anywhere close to the level of Rhea Ripley, because I still remember being excited to see Cesaro step into the ring of Roman Reigns, the elevation he would get, and then it just didn't happen.
Yep. I was going to say, as Tom says, building off the past. Rhea Ripley is already all week long using social media to talk about her and her Raquel's past and using the photographs and going, nobody understands how good of a competitor you are, but I do. Nobody thinks that you have a chance in this match, but I do. But at the same time, I'm going to beat you this Saturday night. And I really like that. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, a lot of that, I think, is because Rhea is established in so many ways. She has a crazy growth in her career that a very few amount of professional wrestlers get to have. Mm-hmm. Look at what she's done at the age she is. It's remarkable. While you look at Raquel, she's been a sidekick for how many people throughout her career. She hasn't yet had that breaking out moment that she really needs on the main roster. This could be the right person for it. Ed, you are the voice of our NXT at our local establishment, and you've seen what Rhea Ripley has done for other competitors on the female brand in there. Mm-hmm. And how they've been able to evolve and adapt and then just become better in the ring. Raquel Rodriguez, I think, might just be that perfect opponent for Rhea Ripley. Even though Bianca Belair might be the selected one, I think Raquel has the ability to bring the action just like Rhea. And I think this is a perfect example for everyone to see it. And once they do, your perception is going to change about Raquel Rodriguez.
I would hope so. The problem I have with Raquel Rodriguez is I feel like she's a one-dimensional talent. I don't think she's comfortable on the microphone. I don't think she's entirely comfortable in front of a camera, speaking to a camera. And on the other end, her wrestling talent is not at the highest level. She's good. She's much better than a lot of people give her credit for. But at the end of the day, I don't think she's to the level that I would like her to be. But yes, Rhea can bring that out of her, absolutely. But I think this is the moment where you start making challengers for Rhea. And I think Rhea ends up in the Elimination Chamber. And I think you start making it everybody against Rhea. And you start stacking the odds, like you did, as Tom said, against Roman, where you have 2 challenges at a time in some cases to challenge him, to give him the opportunity to potentially lose. You do the same thing here with Rhea, where you bring multiple challenges at her, so that maybe it's 5-on-1 inside of an elimination chamber heading into the road to WrestleMania. And yes, Cesaro versus Roman was at WrestleMania Backlash, and it was lackluster. All right, Carnage, you go ahead and get some sleep. I'm sure Tom will be right behind you in the very near future. We've all got Rhea Ripley. Let's go ahead and move on. What do we got next match, Mr. Parrish?
I got the United States Championship match here, where Rey Mysterio is defending his United States Championship against the cocky Austin Theory, A-Town down. Just saying, as an Atlanta guy, I don't like your Falcons. But with that being said, I'm excited for this match because anytime I get to see Rey Mysterio in a ring, I'm jealous. It's amazing. And the guy is, when you talk about the Mount Rushmore in my eyes, Rey Mysterio is never mentioned, and Demo should be. He is the greatest luchador ever. Not even a question. But I have a feeling Austin Theory could sneak the title back in this match.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Austin Theory in this. I think Austin Theory is a future star. If they can keep him away from his issues and they can keep him focused on what he needs to do and find a way to make him connect with the fans, whether it be a positive or a negative one. We got Carnage saying, just in for one last prediction, Rey Mysterio. And then he says goodbye. I think if there's a way that you can go ahead and...
I just want to say, before Carnage goes to bed, he is somebody that I know, Tom, he's in your channel. If people would like to get to know him a little bit, make sure that you check out his YouTube right there, youtube.com/DMSCarnage, because we like to kind of help other people here at our local establishment. So go check them out. But Ed, I interrupted you. I apologize. Continue.
I just think that Austin Theory has everything he needs to be a future star in this business, and they just need to find something that resonates with the crowd, whether it be positive or negatively. John Cena had that same thing. Until he got the rap gimmick, he just didn't have that it factor to make him a heel or a babyface. And other than booing Austin Theory just because we want to, they just need something. And I think once we get that, Austin Theory is such a talented in-ring competitor, and I think that people discredit what he does on the mic as not being good enough or not being able to hang with people. I thought he did a really good job verbally against John Cena heading into WrestleMania. I thought he opened my eyes bigger than they already were for him. But I'm a big fan of Austin Theory, and I hope that this kid gets the world because this kid is good. So, A-Town down for me.
We've agreed on everything so far, and that looks like it's going to continue because I've definitely got Austin Theory for this one as well. I can smell a breakup of the LWO coming. Unfortunately, Santos Escobar essentially letting Rey Mysterio down tonight as well. And I don't know who's going to be face, who's going to be heel, who's going to be what, but I am pretty confident that Austin Theory's time with the LWO is coming to an end very soon. And if he escapes with the United States Championship, that means he can put over someone else who may, in fact, have a 3-digit name.
Did you just say Austin Theory is part of the LWO?
No, he'll be done with as in no longer feuding with them.
Feuding, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have to think that they are working with something with Santos and Rey, right? It's too clear. Like Rey has to be the babyface, while I think LWO turns on Rey. It's the best way for a group to get heat if they all do it.
I just think it's funny. People forget Rey Mysterio's been a heel before.
Yes, but never in WWE.
No, but he's been a heel. Like, people always add him to that list of people who have never been heels. And they're like, Rey Mysterio. And I'm like, you're wrong. He's been a heel. And he's actually kind of good at it. I wouldn't mind a heel Rey Mysterio one last time, just a little bit of it, before he walks out the door. I think that'd be fun. We got Chris Best jumping in and saying, as much as I'm excited for this match, I still wish this was Santos Escobar versus Austin Theory. I agree. As much as I like seeing Rey Mysterio, I would have liked this to have been Escobar getting a big moment on a pay-per-view stage. But it's Rey.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us were confused when Rey Mysterio won the United States Championship. Did he need it? Of course not. But is it kind of cool still to see Rey Mysterio, who, let's be honest, the guy, tell me what era was your favorite, because he can make a case for any era he wrestled to be your favorite. But
I personally like seeing him lawn darted into the side of the TV truck in WCW.
See, I loved watching him win the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania 22. But that's here nor there. The single fact that guy, or he can be him, any sort of crowd, right? In 96 with the WCW, in 2023 with a new crop of fan base, and he is still considered to be one of the most beloved characters they've ever seen. I still think that's remarkable. The single fact that he, in my opinion, has changed what being a babyface in pro wrestling has. He is the pinnacle of being a babyface, and that is why I think it is a mistake to ever think about making him a heel now. I'd rather see John Cena as a heel than Rey Mysterio. But with that being said, I do think Austin Theory wins the title. I don't think it's a complete turn of Santos or the LWO. I just think it's another mishap between the two. And then we see that turn on a SmackDown. Mm-hmm. That way it leads to something like a PLE pay-per-view.
My favorite era of Rey Mysterio is any time he was in the ring with Jushin Thunder Liger, whether that be as WCW or in fact New Japan in the latter days. I think Rey Mysterio won this championship to provide a bump in the road for Austin Theory, to give him something to overcome and to give him that moment of how does he handle failure. It's Austin Theory. He gets back on the horse and immediately starts wrecking people again.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. Parrish, what we got next?
What we have next, and it's funny because I keep going in, I have that segment between Grayson Waller and Cody Rhodes. As you see that I do have a graphic for that, Ed. Despite the fact that they are apparently dressed as John Cena, because you can't see them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand what we're going to see here. So, Tom, maybe you can give us a better idea. What do you expect to come from this segment?
Sure. So Cody Rhodes is being kept in the public eye as much as possible. He's going to be on pretty much every show they can possibly put him on. And any moment in which he doesn't have a feud, they are trying to present it as if he does have a feud. I expect this to be very similar to many, many moons ago when Chris Jericho reintroduced Randy Orton took the RKO, and essentially was just a case of a heel building heat, and then taking the hit. That's all I expect. I don't expect this to become a feud. I don't expect anything major here. It's very possible we see some more John Cena, but ultimately it comes down to a heel being a heel, getting beaten up by a face, and then everyone says, oh, this Cody guy, he's really good. We're really excited about what happens next. That's kind of it.
So basically, it's like in The Simpsons, it's about Poochie. It's not about Cody Rhodes having a match. It's about always asking the question, what's Poochie doing? What's this person doing? It's always going back to that same question of, we don't care what else is going on. What about this?
Yeah, more importantly, what's Cody doing right now? Is he okay? Is he having a nap? Is his chair comfortable enough? Who's he going to wrestle next? How much hair dye is there? That's the sort of things you should be
Too
asking.
much. There's too much hair dye.
At all times. And of course, most importantly, singing his theme, which was played at Wembley, by the way.
I think this is going to be twofold. I think, obviously, as Tom alluded earlier, Cody is in the public eye. He should be. He's one of the top stars in WWE right now. And he generates a boatload of money for WWE. And he generates a lot of interest. But I also think this is also to give Grayson Waller a rub as well. That the fact that he is in the ring with Cody Rhodes, that he is on, from a visual level, on the same level as a Cody Rhodes. Whereas, you might tune in and you might see Cody Rhodes, who you've known, and he's with Grayson Waller, and you're like, oh, I don't know him that well, but if he's in the ring with this guy, he must be important. I'm going to check him out. I think this has a lot to do with the investment that WWE has on Grayson Waller and to give him some sort of a rub. But I don't see this necessarily manifesting into much. However, I think it could be a foreshadow of what we could see after, say, the next draft. And maybe this is a moment in time that Grayson Waller maybe got the worst of Cody Rhodes when trying to get the best, only to have that be told in a story down the road. Eventually, when Cody Rhodes becomes champion, then Grayson Waller can say, hey, you did this to me. And then we have a challenger for Cody Rhodes when he does eventually win that championship.
Is Grayson going to say, I want payback?
So I'm just going to jump in and ignore what Ed's just said there, because why would anybody?
Maybe.
My concern is that Grayson Waller is a new Elias. He sits on pay-per-view, he gets a load of heat, someone else beats him up, and that's repeated for the next 5 years.
I was just going to ask the question.
Concern.
I was going to say, I was just going to ask the same question, another version of that, by going, isn't it great how Grayson Waller has come up since the draft and been such a focal point of so many legend segments and so many segments with these big stars? I'm like, isn't that such a good thing? And you only have to say one name, and I go, oh, that's bad.
Exactly what happened with Elias. Exactly.
Elias.
All of the legend segments, huge names, huge moments at WrestleMania, and it never transferred to him.
Who's the better in-ring talent, Grayson Waller or Elias?
Haven't seen enough of Grayson Waller to say. You would know better than me.
I think it's great. Having seen what I've seen in NXT, it's Grayson Waller.
As of right now, I think it is Elias. Like, Elias, I think, is still one of the most underappreciated talents because of everything he does. I think Grayson Waller still needs in who he is. I still think Grayson Waller still needs fine-tuning in the ring. I still think he needs confidence. And I say that I'm saying that he knows what he can do. I don't think he knows what he's really capable of yet. And I think in 3-5 years, we're going to see a completely different in-ring Grayson Waller. And then it's a better argument to talk about. But I'm also thinking, what if this is a segment designed to bringing a name in to be Cody Rhodes' next opponent, and we're just using the Grayson Waller effect to benefit something we'll see on Monday Night Raw and down the road.
Are we talking about the man who cannot be seen?
I'm thinking that, but at the same time, come on. Isn't WWE known to have some surprises at hand? Can we really rule that out?
So the return of AOP, is that what you're talking about?
No.
I mean, they've been. I read Fightful the other day. They've been signed since 2022. They've been paid for 8 months to sit at home and do nothing. I mean, they obviously they're going to show up, right?
I would love to get paid for 8 months to not.
Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be the best deal in
the world? In like
to
7
be secretly signed to a company and get paid for 8 months to do nothing. Sorry, Tom. I apologize that you have to sit here and be part of this. But
in like 7 to 8 weeks, if I can get paid a great deal of money just to stay at home, I'd be the happiest man on earth.
Tom, you can just stay quiet. This is all set. But yeah, there's a bunch of people who this could be. This could benefit a lot of people. But it's just a segment, so we should move on to the next match.
Yeah, which I have the tag team championship because we've seen a lot of singles. Tinder has been running wild on this because we've seen nothing but singles so far on this show.
Wait. So my payback joke was bad, but that is something that gets a wry chuckle. Really?
That was a joke.
Yeah.
I think he's saying, "Is your payback thing a joke?"
Anyways, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day. Tom, go ahead and talk. I know you talked a little bit about during spoiler warning today. We talked about the year of the Judgment Day, but go ahead and give some more thoughts on the Judgment Day here and what it means in this matchup.
So, spoiler warning, we've been talking about the year of Judgment Day for about 10 months now. It was something they were ushering in near the end of last year, and it's on a rotation basis. So certain wrestlers in Judgment Day getting pushed at certain times. Finn Balor's part is largely coming to an end right now. Damian Priest is just beginning. Rhea Ripley's will last for basically the rest of her career, and so it should. Dominic's been pushed to the background slightly to make room for Finn Balor and Damian Priest, but it's still the year of Judgment Day. Judgment Day were always going to be the faction that became the focal point on Monday Night Raw. Now, initially, I didn't see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn losing these championships. I thought they're essentially going to hold on to them until the Street Profits are ready. And there's still some work to do to get the Street Profits ready. On SmackDown, they were presented as faces. That ain't where they're going. Then I started thinking a bit longer term. If the Street Profits do need a bit more time, I wouldn't have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn holding these championships all the way to Mania. This is a great opportunity for a bump in the road, much like Rey Mysterio earlier. I would give these to Finn Balor and Damian Priest. I'd let them have the win here, have them hold both sets of championships, make Judgment Day the ones who all hold gold, and also the biggest tension in Judgment Day is between Finn Balor and Damian Priest. So I think logically, I've talked myself into this over the course of a couple of different recordings. I've got Judgment Day here.
Yeah, I mean, people keep throwing out for the biggest reason why Judgment Day can't win this match is, Superstar Spectacle. It's going to be a tag team title match between KO and Sammy versus Indusher. Guys, wrestling has one of the greatest taglines in all of entertainment. Card subject to change. I don't see any reason why KO and Sammy should hold on to these titles. I think both of them could use another few weeks off. Some time to recover. And what better way to help them recover than to have the human Funko Pop himself, JD McDouchebag, come in here and help Judgment Day go ahead and get the win. To continue putting that foot forward of, look, I'm in this for you guys. I want this for you. And to further the dissension, as Tom said, between Finn and Damian, where Damian continues to say, I don't like this guy. He looks like a snake in the grass. And Finn goes, no, look, he's helping us. He's good for us. We need to bring him in. I think it's great. I say Judgment Day wins this match.
See, I'm kind of between the two of you guys in the way.
Well, yes, you're specifically between the two.
I know. And that's why I said it, because it fits. That's what she said. Sorry. But
that's definitely not what she said with you.
but yet, I mean, I see this as more of a story to talk more about the dissension between Damian Priest and Finn Balor than it is really about the tag team titles here. Unfortunately, that is true because we got to get the closure here between Sammy, KO, and the Judgment Day, and I think that's what we're going to get. And I think we're going to get it in the way that they retain the titles because JD McDonough tries to get involved. I think he's going to get involved, and he's going to allow Damian Priest. He's going to try to win him over in this match. But then Damian Priest is so neglected for his help because he does not want his help that maybe that is the distraction that costs Judgment Day the opportunity to become the tag team champions, which then just absolutely irates Finn Balor, who actually sees the attempt and the neglect, to then get mad at Damian Priest. It'd be like he's trying to help. And I think overall, we're going to see JD McDonough be the reason why Damian Priest kicks Finn Balor out of Judgment Day at a later time. And I still think Damian Priest is going to bring somebody else into Judgment Day that he wants after or because of that. But that's nor here nor there. I think we're going to see more of the dissension between the Judgment Day be the reason why they don't win, because that is going to be the downward spiral that they have before a big change. And I think it's going to cost them the tag team titles here. I have the Canadians retain their title.
Yeah, you would. Tom, question for you. We've been talking. We talked about the year of the Judgment Day. We're 3/4 of the way through the year of the Judgment Day. In the year. Do you think it's been a successful push for the Judgment Day this year?
Absolutely. There are certainly individuals who haven't had the rub of the green. Finn Balor, historically not exactly picking up the most wins, but he's the one who benefits least from it. He's had a very successful career, and overall, while he's certainly been beaten up by Edge from pillar to post, once you remove Edge from the equation, it's been a very good year for Finn Balor and some very good matches to top it off. Damian Priest, his push is just beginning. He's got the briefcase. We know where it's headed, and it's a very exciting prospect. But when you look at Dominic, when you look at Rhea Ripley, their careers are just starting, and they're starting on a tremendous foundation already.
Yeah, I would agree. Parrish, what do we got next?
I love how I wasn't involved in that conversation, but it's okay.
It was a question for the man with the news. The man who gives us the spoiler warning.
That's okay. It's not for the man that was in the PWI, but it's fine. But now we have two women who were in the PWI. I do. It means a lot. But we do have the cage match between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus in the finale of this feud. It has to be.
You.
And I think it just has to be, right?
You would think.
I try. It doesn't always work, but I try.
You know what? Just because I'm going to have the least amount of thoughts on this, I'm going to go first, and I'll let you guys have more thoughts on this. I could care less who wins this match. Can they both lose? I'd be happy if they both lose. No. I hate Becky Lynch. But I'm not fond of the people are like, oh, this Trish character is great. I'm like, it's fine. I don't care. I didn't care when it started. I didn't care at Money in the Bank. I didn't care when they missed SummerSlam. And I don't honestly care now. I don't.
Okay, so I'm not going to be quite that dismissive. I still think we're going to get quite a fun match out of this. And even after 9 months, I still think you can get some entertainment, but I do agree that it is way overstayed its welcome. Both of these women could be doing a lot more in a lot different areas. We could be involved in championship. We could be involved in the tag scene. We could just be involved in other things. And for me, this also needs to be the end, because there is only so much water you can tread before you just start to drown in it. Zoe Stark has come out of this the undisputed winner because she's gotten a hell of a push out of this. But if she wasn't there, that's when I'd be exactly where Ed is right now.
Like I said, this match will be fine. Like, I'm expecting a great steel cage match out of the two of them. I just don't care who wins. I just want it to be over.
I have Becky, by the way.
I mean, I think it's fair to say the only reason why this match is even on Payback is because Triple H didn't want to cut the time on SummerSlam with this match. And I think that as many people may have been upset with the lack of female matches at SummerSlam, you have to look at this in the big picture as a respect to these two competitors that Triple H wanted to make sure that these two were able to do everything they wanted to. And with this being Trish's first ever steel cage match, which is still absolutely insane to think about because she has done so much in her career, I think these two are going to go absolutely crazy, beat the crap out of each other, just try to steal the show. But at the end of the day, you have to have closure in this. Becky Lynch will win this match, but Trish Stratus is still going to look like an absolute icon in defeat. And I still think when it's all said and done, she could go down as WWE's best all-time female performer.
Tom, another question for you on the news aspect of things. We heard there was a promo last week, a couple weeks ago, where Tiffany Stratton was talking, and she was talking about how she's one of the greats of the NXT Women's Division. And she started listing former NXT Women's Champions, Bayley, Charlotte, Asuka. And then she put Becky in there. And then they had a backstage segment where they specifically she goes, "Oh, I know Becky wasn't champion. I'm just making a point, yada, yada." And Becky was like, "I haven't been NXT Women's Champion yet." Do you think that there's a chance between now and the Royal Rumble that Becky Lynch makes a stop off in NXT to work a program with Tiffany Stratton?
Absolutely, I do. Seth Rollins did the exact same thing.
There we go. Decisive. Now, did you have any more thoughts on the steel cage matches? I think I cut you off there when asking that question by accident.
No, the only thing I was really going to say is that I like Parrish's approach that these women are going to go, if you'll forgive the pun, all out.
But just hope they don't brawl out.
I love the pun. But right. I think they have just like a cage, I think they're going to try to steal the show. But what's next, you might add, is the main event. And for the first time ever, I believe that the WWE World Heavyweight Championship held by Seth freaking Rollins is going to main event a show, PLE, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, against what I think is a very impressive and emerging Shinsuke Nakamura, who is showing a completely different side of him that maybe the WWE Universe does not know, but fans of him do recognize. Although in the last month, Shinsuke undoubtedly has reemerged as a competitor for this. Even Seth Rollins on After the Bell saying, if you ask Twitter, they think it's time for Seth Rollins to drop the title. What do you guys think?
Mr. Carly?
I think Seth Rollins is kicking out of a Beaumaye, which is something we haven't seen for a long time. I think Shinsuke is going to run him close, and I'm really excited for the match, but I don't think Shinsuke has any chance of winning the championship. This, for me, reminds me of what they were trying to do with John Cena and CM Punk way back in 2011, before CM Punk really caught fire and they changed their minds. At the time, John Cena was champion. Each month, he had a new challenger. The month before, he was taking on R-Truth. This, for me, is the moment at which they said to Seth Rollins, we don't have any particular plans. Who do you want to work with? And he said, I didn't get enough time with Shinsuke Nakamura. Give me that guy. That's what it screams to me. And for me, I'm excited for it, but I don't see a title changing hands to Shinsuke anyway.
You know what? I've thought about this long and hard. I think Shinsuke wins the match, but not the championship. I think that there's a chance where Shinsuke gets some kind of a funky DQ finish or does something that somehow he gets the match. Maybe it's a count out where he delivers the Bomaye on the outside of the ring, or the Kinshasa, however you want to call it, on the outside of the ring, and or delivers it straight to Seth's back on the outside and wins the match, but doesn't necessarily get the title. Give Nakamura that big win to push him forward. Maybe extend this a little bit to another show, but not give him the championship to give that benefit of the doubt. But at the end of the day, there's no way I don't think that Seth loses the championship. But if you're going to do something surprising at this show, this is where I do it. And if you want to pull the trigger on Seth losing the title to Nakamura, I'm all for that.
I have a situation. I think this match is going to be a drag-out brawl. Fight, if you will, but inside a squared circle. I think Shinsuke is going to target the back of Seth Rollins, which we all know. Seth Rollins alluded right after the belt. It is bothering him. He said, I had a bad back when I won this title. I had a bad back when I beat Finn Balor. I had a bad back when I beat AJ. I plan on having a bad back by beating Shinsuke. I think Shinsuke is going to target this back like no tomorrow. And I think this is very important for everyone, because if this is Shinsuke trying to damage Seth Rollins, then I think that's his attempt in this match. Does he win this match? I don't think so. But I think the overall design isn't necessarily for Shinsuke to win this match, but it's for Shinsuke to damage Seth Rollins, where I believe this could be the night. Actually, scratch that. This is the night Damian Priest takes a hurt Seth Rollins and cashes in and becomes the new world heavyweight champion. I do not think Shinsuke is primed to win this championship, but I think he's primed to be the guy who costs Seth the championship.
We're talking an awful lot about Prime here. We're going to see Logan Paul come back? Is that what you're saying?
No, I got beer right now.
Everything's primed. I was going to say we got our local establishment. We got Rogue Energy. We don't have no.
Yeah. No, we don't do Prime. Although I did when I was in Ontario last week, I did see Prime energy drink for the first time. It was weird. I've only had the hydration drink. I opted out because I don't know if my heart can take it anymore.
But that's been the card for Payback, presented by WWE. That will be, again, available on Peacock for these people in the United States. For those of you in Canada and around the world, you can see that on the WWE Network. Tom, we're going to go ahead and throw it up one more time. Go ahead and tell the good people where they can find you this weekend.
You can, of course, find me on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/C/Tom Collihew. We will be live for the entirety of Payback, start of the pre-show to the end of the show. But if you want to pop on over to the YouTube, you will join one of 2,750 subscribers, and we'll see what sort of party we can make for you.
And what else can we find you during the week? What other shows do you do?
We, of course, do Spoiler Warning, which is our Monday and Friday news shows, 10 o'clock UK time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And in addition to that, we also get a few more videos going. We'll have a review going live for Payback, and then each week going forwards, we'll go back a month through the year of Triple H.
Very, very nice. And Parrish, where can the good people find you this weekend?
All right, legally you can find me. Oh no, I shouldn't say that. Online, you can follow me on the X at Chris Parrish, on the Instagram and Threads, because I was told that was a good idea to get, is at Chris.Parrish, on the Twitch at the Chris Parrish, YouTube at Chris Parrish, Kick, because why not? At kick.com/Chris Parrish. In terms of shows coming up this week and moving forward, you can see me every Monday for the Monday Night Raw watch along. You can follow me every Wednesday, where Ed, I continuously duke it out with you with Wrestle Draft, as you see the championship on my microphone signifies season 1 winner. I'm not acknowledging anybody other than my victory. But then every Sunday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, you can see myself and Bobby Munson give you a very off-the-rails edition of Busting Out. And then, for a special time this Sunday, you can also see myself with Bobby Munson and Papa Smokes. And if Tom Call, who wants, or if anybody wants, a live watch along for MLW's Fury Road at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. So I have no idea what that is in your time there in the BST from what
11 p.m. So it'd be 9 p.m. Eastern time, and 9 p.m. British Standard Time.
All right.
No,
But yeah,
11 p.m. British Standard Time. Sorry.
Yeah.
we'll let Tom. We'll maybe let Tom answer that because I think he would know.
No, it's.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it.
Yeah.
Four,
Okay.
four for you, 6 for me, 11 for him.
Yep.
So we're 469. Got it.
No, 4, 6, 11. You can find me on the X at EdFries12584. I don't need no blue sky. I don't need no threads. I got no shirt right here. I don't need any of that. You can also find all my gaming content on EdFries2002 on the Twitch. I play Marvel Snap. I play WWE 2K23. I play all kinds of fun stuff. I'll have that going hopefully soon. Maybe even some of that this weekend. Got a long holiday weekend here in the States. I might even play some on Monday. So go ahead and check that out. And again, remember that every Tuesday night you can join me and the wonderful, the natural Ash Bizarro as we talk all things NXT as we get ready to move on to the road for No Mercy. I keep calling it Payback because I think that's a better pay-per-view name, but unfortunately it's No Mercy. So we're headed on the road to No Mercy there. But for myself, for our guest, Tom Collihue, all the way over there, and for Chris Parrish. What?
We have people on Twitch.
We do.
We can raid. We can help out.
We
You
can.
gave me a suggestion.
I got
Who
it.
are we-
I'm already rating it out.
Okay,
just
you're
gotta go
already
ahead.
doing it?
Yeah.
All right. Gotta let the people know. Don't surprise them.
I thought I was going to surprise them. We're going to go ahead and raid WWE superstar herself, the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler. So go ahead and give her a nice Ole welcome. Tell her where you've come from. And just generally be nice. But for myself, for Chris Parrish, for our guest, Tom Collihue, way over there, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.